Me. The camera. And you're live. He just starts staring at me.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to the 12 Factions of Christmas CID Dev Talk. I'm Will Hungerford.
This is called a first shot. Dev talks happen on the forums.
Whatever. I'm still Will Hungerford.
This guy. I'm still Will Pagani. Is that what you were waiting for?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to introduce yourself.
Cheers. Hello.
And we're going to talk to you a bit about all the things that just dropped in today's 12 Factions of Christmas CID.
Yep.
It's running for 2 weeks.
A little bit more. We
Yeah.
got till the Friday of the 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so we're giving about 2.5 weeks.
So it should be 15 days, I guess, if everything works out as planned.
So let's jump right into it, should we?
Sure. Yeah. So what this is it's one-ish models per faction. Poor Trolls, kind of. They got theirs early, so they had theirs and their last CID, which was in North Ken.
The Brawler came out.
The Brawler, and that guy is sweet. So hats off to Trolls, but everybody else has some cool new toys coming out here.
Also no Grimkin because you just got your faction.
Correct. Correct.
Enjoy.
Yes. Cool. So our first up is Lieutenant Bastian Falk.
Yeah, he's one of the new. He's a special Arcane Tempest solo that we haven't seen before because he's a shotgun mage.
He is, and this guy is really cool. Like every time I playtest this guy, I just get really excited and start giggling. Okay, well, let's go over what he does, and then we'll talk about why we like him. So he's speed 6, which is sweet. He's rat 7, which is really good with a spray.
Yep.
Def 15, arm 12, which is pretty standard for gun mages. I guess he picks up a defense in there with the arm 12.
He's a little bit dodgier, which is super useful with Reciprocate.
Yes, so he has Reciprocate, which is the Lord Longfellow rule. So every time you miss him with a ranged attack, he gets to shoot you, which is sweet. And he does get to pick his attack types for those. So he can do all sorts of really crazy things with Hailfire. So his 3 attack types are Hailfire, Incendiary, and Rune Marked. So Hailfire is kind of like the spell Crevasse. He shoots a dude. If he kills them, it puts another spray 6 pow 12 off of.
And when he Hailfires that shot, normally it's a spray, but that shot becomes just range 8, and then a spray comes off of that. And that does work, like we were saying, with Reciprocate. And that's probably one of the most amusing things you can possibly do is somebody shoots at you, they completely miss, and then you shoot them back with Hailfire, hit the guy, then spray across like the infantry that was trying to take you down, and just murder their whole line.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's sweet. We do have a question in chat right quick from Henry Marcus. He asks, if Bastian Falk uses his shotgun spray with Gunfighter under Sons of the Tempest, are all of the rolls boosted? Well, the Sons of the Tempest bonus actually only applies to the infantry unit for the Pistoliers.
And the Black 13th.
And the Black 13th, yes. Yep. So it will not affect Falk. But if it did affect Falk, yes, it would boost all.
Yep, we actually had that conversation yesterday.
Was kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it was not okay.
But yes, so that's Hellfire. Incendiary makes it fire damage type, which is kind of cool. It's kind of the first thing in Signar that really has continuous effect fire.
Yeah.
So it does a POW 12 fire, and then of course it sets them on fire, which is dope. And then my favorite one by far, God, you got me saying dope. I just said that.
Yeah.
I never say that.
Yeah. Well, I like to like spread my words like a virus. Dope, succulent, things like that. You're welcome.
No, I'm not. Anyways, Rune Mark is awesome. It really brings something to Sons of the Tempest Theme Force that they've needed, which it really helps them crack armor. Along with this new Theme Force benefit, you can get all these guys at now POW 12 with boosted damage rolls. So what it does is if you hit somebody with a spray, all magic damage typed attacks do 2 additional damage. So that's going to be anything with damage type magical as well as all the spells and stuff.
Let's actually talk about the changes to the Theme Force. So Sons of Tempest has been out for a while now, but we've made some changes that are going to the CID to be tested alongside Bastian Falk. And also, we've noticed that of the Theme Forces being played, Sons of the Tempest was definitely a bit below the power curve. It needed to be bumped up a little bit more. It needed to make the gun mages in it a little bit more effective and shore up one of the major weaknesses of running an all gun mage force, which is kind of armor cracking, like being able to deal with heavy armor. So originally that was CRA on just the Arcane Tempest gun mages, but we've kind of upped that to where that unit and the Black 13th now gets a new ability called Pistolier, which says that their gunfighter attacks the damage rolls are boosted. So if you run this with like Siege 1, for example, you can do a ton of damage. We were actually dojoing earlier today about what kind of Sons of Tempest list we would run ourselves if we went to, say, a tournament and we're doing a 2-list pairing. And I think something would be interesting to test for a lot of people out there. And of course, test whatever it is you want to see. But a Siege 1 list with all the gun mages, I mean, because on feat turn, those POW 10s suddenly are super deadly.
Well, and with Falk and Siege and the Black 13th, you can get POW 12 46 Pistolier shots,
which
is really sweet by combining Pistolier with brutal damage. And I think on Siege's V turn, like putting 1 or 2 of those into each jack or something can do quite a bit of damage in that theme force. I mean, and then of course you can have Triumph then, and he's super great.
Yeah, we also think
he's also magical, so he gets the +2 damage from Falk.
Yeah, Kane 1, also a solid choice.
He makes his whole battle group magical.
Yeah.
So Falk just goes crazy with Kane 1.
Yeah. So those are some things to
which I
consider
really
when you're doing your testing: is a Siege 1 list and a Kane 1 list with Falk to really get the most out of his abilities and see what you can pull off. Of course, everyone out there, you might see some Busto combo we haven't tested yet, so let us know what you find.
We do have a couple questions here in chat. Yes, it is true that the benefit from Sons of the Tempest only affects the Gunmage Pistolier unit, which is the little basic guys with the pistols, not the ones on horses, which are Blazers.
Yep.
And then it also affects the Black 13th. We do also have a question in chat, which is if you snipe Falk and then use Hailfire, it probably becomes range 12.
It is range 12.
Thought about it. I don't see why that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it ceases to be a spray, becomes range 8, then gets the +4 range.
Yep.
So it absolutely works. If you decide to put snipe on Falk for that one shot,
I mean, that sounds sweet. I hadn't even thought about that. So cheers to that guy.
You
That
got
sounds
it.
awesome.
You got it. So
That sounds awesome.
that's pretty much what Falk's all about, and the new theme force. You'll also notice the theme force has the inclusion of a new rule you're going to see coming up a lot more, which is the ability to take a Merc solo and unit.
Correct. And then the one thing that I don't know if we actually mentioned on Falk is he has Run and Gun. So if he kills a model with a ranged attack, he can then make a full advance after his activation, which is very similar to Sprint, but for ranged attacks. He is particularly potent with it because he does have a couple shots like Rune Marked that you want to shoot heavies at, which he's not going to kill, but it is a spray. So if you can catch an infantryman in that spray, kill the infantryman, trigger your Run and Gun, get your Rune Marked, get out of town.
Or if you snipe him and you Hailfire, you shoot a guy at 12, spray out, then Run and Gun back 6 inches.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what Falk ends up doing. I think
Did we just break him? Nah, he's fine. He's
No,
fine.
I think he's sweet, but I want to see how people end up using him and what ends up going on there.
So let's move on to Protectorate as a whole. Protectorate has a brand new model from the 12 Factions of Christmas CID, as well as 2 legacy models that are seeing an update, and a new theme force.
Yes.
So let's start with the Christmas model first. The Champion of the Order of the Wall.
It's very easy to say quickly.
Yeah.
Champion of the Order of the Wall.
So that would be the cow?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the cow. The
Yeah.
cow. So the cow is probably one of the most potent combat dragoons we've put out. I mean, he's Dracoon-ish in terms of just murdering everything.
Yep,
right?
yep. He's one of our, I think the second, maybe third non-character dragoon. I don't know. Who cares? But he I mean, it doesn't matter, right?
No, just like the.
I don't remember how many there are, but it's him and the Dracoon for sure. But this guy does a lot of stuff. He's got Retaliatory Strike, a very high mat at 8, and a POW 12 sword.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's got a lance because he's a dragoon in Protectorate, so he's got to have a lance.
Yeah.
Unless his name is Gravis, in which case he gets a flail.
Right. But he's got Retaliatory Strike and Leadership Paladin. Retaliatory Strike. Which you can just start imagining with Harbinger, right? Is
Sure.
ridiculous. Because you can guarantee they're going to survive that. And almost all the Paladins have Steady and Sturdy.
Correct.
So any sort of knockdown effects or moving them out of the way, it's just not going to work. So if you're playing the Harbinger with especially Faithful Masses, for example, you can make sure those Paladins are going to stay where they want, take the hit, survive, and then hit back. And none of them are slouches in combat.
No, they're POW 12, 14, 15, I want to say, between the 3 different types of Paladins that are out there. Weapon Masters, of course. So, with very high attack stats, I think they're all 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Vilmon's a 9, the other 2 are 8.
Yeah, Vilmon's a 9.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so I like this guy. He's very fast. He can really do something that a lot of the other Paladins can't, and I think he functions very well inside of the Faithful Masses theme force. So let's jump to that right quick.
Sure.
We've got Protectorate Warcasters, of course, non-character Warjacks, Deliverers, Idrians, Paladins, Reclaimers, Vassals, Zealots, Choir, Allegiance of the Order of the Fists, commonly known as Kiki Monks, which is my favorite.
Yep.
Hierophant Solos, Tristan, and Rax.
It's like everybody. I mean, it's basically all the non-elites, right?
It's all the untrained guys, yeah.
Right.
And then a couple of the trained guys in the Paladins, which are like sworn to protect the people or something, because that's great.
It's kind of what the Order of the Wall is all about, man, is protecting the common folk in the Protectorate.
Yes. So we see the return of the Merc and Minion Inclusion Clause, which you're going to see a lot of coming out later next month when all the theme forces end up dropping out.
Yep.
And then for every 20 points of units, you get weapon crews, command attachments, smaller medium-based solos to the army. So you can get free Paladins, you can get free Kiki Monks. You
cannot get the free champ. You can't.
No, you can't take the champion.
Can't
for
get free
unfortunately.
cows. but you can get free Vilmans.
Yes, free Vilman seems pretty succulent.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yep. One of the things that I'm worried about in this theme force
Is the Warjack bonus?
is the Warjack bonus, which is Hand of Vengeance. So if they kill one of your little poor masses out there, so zealots or deliverers, or even your choir guys, right? Like one of the big things that ends up happening against Protectorate is you end up killing a lot of their choir to kind of get rid of those bonuses. Is you trigger Hand of Vengeance on all of their Warjacks.
Yep.
So it gives them all +2 to hidden damage. With melee attacks, which is fantastic.
It's going to stack with choir buffs.
And it's going to stack with choir buffs, giving them an additional +2 damage for a total +4 damage, which I'm sure makes them all kill everything.
And with
they
Savvy
touch.
1, you're looking at +3 to hit, +5 damage.
Yep. So that seems really, really great. And I'm excited to see where that goes, because I know Protectorate has never had anything like this.
Nope.
So I kind of want to see what happens there.
I think some recommended testing for these would be Harbinger lists, specifically pushing the Paladins to try and just create these sort of impenetrable walls that hit back really hard. Sevi 1 and Amon, both for the same reasons of using Hand of Vengeance, the Choir, and then their buffs to push damage to places it should not be, and make sure that this list does not hit far too much above its weight class, as it were.
And then one of the big drawbacks in Protectorate is a lot of your casters are very squishy.
Sure.
So you end up having to take a Vigilant to get cover to make sure that you don't die.
Yep.
This Theme Force gives you a wall, so you don't have to pay the points for that Vigilant. You can get a little more efficiency out of your army that way.
And it goes up to 20 inches up the board?
Yeah.
So, yeah, your Sevi 1, again, your Harbinger, you can set the wall up exactly where you want them to be and just stand there for the majority of the game.
So I'm very excited about this one. One, I love the Paladins. I think they're fantastic. We've got a couple more changes coming to the Zealots here and the Deliverers, which we haven't talked about yet. So Zealots are picking up a Rat, which should help make them a little more consistent against heavier targets while still not being laser accurate. And then, of course, the Deliverers are picking up 2 power, Rocket Volley.
Rocket Volley's kind of an interesting one. No, they also picked up Arcing Fire.
Yes.
So they've got Arcing Fire. They've got POW 10 instead of POW 8. So now we've vastly improved the amount of damage they do. And then Rocket Volley is kind of a big deal because being able to increase that AoE to 4 or 5 and being able to do 2 5-mans into 2 5-inch AoEs with the CRA is
Yeah, and then you get those 2 5-inch AoEs that are now POW 10 blast damage.
yeah it's strong, right?
It's pretty good, yeah. I'm excited to see what people can come up with it. I would love to see it in Krios 1 stuff, because obviously if you feat and knock down all their infantry and then Deliverers walk up from a very far range at range 16 and just annihilate entire units. Yeah. So I think they've got some play. I think we do have some more work to do here, though. So please focus some feedback on Deliverers here, and we'll see where we end up. Unfortunately, I just missed the name. Someone asked in chat about the Theme Force drop that is coming next month. Yes, we will be poking the old theme forces and adding in the Merc and Minion inclusion clauses where those are supposed to be.
Yep. And adding a bunch of new theme forces.
Oh, correct.
Yep.
Yes, tons and tons and tons.
Let's move on to Kador, shall we?
Good old Kurder.
So, Capitan Sofia Skarova?
Skarova, yes.
This is fun to say.
Sofia Skarova. I'm going to call her Katya, one of my favorite drag queens.
All right, you go nuts, man.
Cheers.
We're giving nicknames to everything already. We've got the cow and now Katya.
Oh, yeah. She would be offended to hear you call her that.
No, it was...
You're the worst.
So, Sophia, Black Dragon, Iron Fang, solo. Key things here, obviously, Inhuman Resolve. So we've seen that originally on the Night Exemplar Seneschal.
Yep.
That if you play around with your opponent's order of operations, right? They have to make sure that she's the last thing to die, otherwise she'll come right back. Which is also really important with Shield Guard.
Yes.
Because Shield Guard, while she can't use it while knocked down, if you bring the Iron Fang Covenant that prevents knockdown, she can go into Inhuman Resolve state, still be standing, and still Shield Guard while dead.
Yes.
Which is bonkers. And then
if you kill someone else, so like if you mess up your order of activations and she gets to Shield Guard, say a Defender shot or a Hunter shot or something, and she goes down, then like that Shield Guard really lets you mess with your opponent's order of activations. Yeah. And a lot of the people will sort of be like, oh, well, I just won't kill her. But because of that Shield Guard, you have to kill her.
Right. And then if they kill anything else around her, then they're bringing her back to life.
And then, of course, that's a very strong scenario presence because she can't die. So she will always contest a zone. Yep. Which is just very strong. She also brings Veteran Leader for Iron Fang,
which is huge.
Those guys go up to Mat 8, I believe, in Mark 3, whatever we call this.
We're Mark 3.
Mark 3.
Yeah, we're Mark 3.
Yeah. And then, of course, she has our second Weapon Master shield in the game. I believe Pyrrhus has it as well.
Yes.
So
She's real good at shield bashing
get out
people,
there
right?
and get out there and practice with your defensive items, and maybe someday you too can be a Weapon Master shield.
So obviously we want to see her brought along with all the Iron Fang theme force and stuff like that. But she's cost 6 right now, and an incredibly potent combat solo like this that also has this sort of control aspect, more, I wouldn't say control, more disruption aspect with the shield guard and then the scenario presence and then being able to come back to life and mess with your opponent's order of operations, as well as veteran leaders. Like, she's not just straight murder missile. She does all these other things, and that can make a model like this actually a little tricky to cost. So we feel that 6 is correct, knowing that she'll often be free in some theme forces.
Sure.
But you know, give her a shot, see how she works, see what you think, and see specifically if you think the cost is right. Is it too low? Is it too high? You know, is this a 5-point model? Is this a 7-point model? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up, we got Acrimony, Kern of the Dying Sands for Crix here.
She's a ghost genie.
She's a ghost genie.
Yeah.
I believe in the fiction she is on Ringgrave's little belt. It's like a little genie bottle, and then he like pops her out every once in a while, and then she marches to battle with the ghost fleet.
Yeah, fluff wise, I dig this model so much because it is so like high pirate fantasy, right? Like the old undead captain pulls out his little trinket and is like, got a ghost genie. And everyone's like, well, that's bad. What does it do? Oh, makes everything water and starts off tough. Neat.
Poor living people.
So
poor living people.
You know, we felt Ghost Fleet needed this model's going in Ghost Fleet, right?
Sure, yeah. She is a Revenant.
And you know, Ghost Fleet is incredibly strong. We know that.
It's a very good list, yes. Absolutely.
But Acrimony brings a different form of utility to that list that I think is, I don't want to say quite lateral exactly in terms of power level, but it's just going to bring more options. It's going to bring more, you know, it's not just a straight buff only to Ghost Fleet.
Yeah, I mean, diversity is always good, right? And what she does is she gives them a couple of different opening builds. So with her abilities, she's always incorporeal. She's undead, of course. She has apparition, so she can pop around and get out of melee with magical weapons and stuff.
Yep.
And then she has 3 spells that she can cast. She has Black Waters, which is everything within 5 inches becomes water, and living models lose tough. Actually, sorry, it only affects living models. So living models treat the open terrain as water, not everything. She's got Bone Shaker, so a pretty standard offensive nuke, but also lets you take control of stuff and move around, so that's pretty good. And then Sigil of Power brings some magic weapons into Ghost Fleet. That variety is always nice, so you don't always have to take the Black Banes to get magic weapons.
One thing to note about Blackwaters is this not enemy. It is living. So if you're playing in Ghost Fleet, it's kind of irrelevant. But if you are playing outside of Ghost Fleet and you have Styxis around you or any of the, you know, Black Ogren, for example, like pay attention to that. You can hurt your own models with that ability. So use it wisely. Pay attention to your positioning when you're using it.
Yep. And then she has Tactician Revenant. So people can move through each other. They can shoot through each other, all that kind of stuff, which is really great for the cannons. Well, I think they have Ghost Shot anyway, but the riflemen and stuff, you can no longer block your own line of sight. They also have Ghost Shot.
Yep.
I'm really good at this.
It's fine.
I'm just like going down the checklist here.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll change this in editing afterwards because we're recording this, right?
Yes,
this is not live. This is we're live.
100%
Okay, no.
live.
This is the chat. It makes sense that there's a chat now.
I just thought you guys were making that up. She has no weapons, so
Yeah,
just pay attention to that.
She basically can't ever be corporeal. So, yes.
Shall we move on to Retribution?
Yep. So we got the Siren and the Harpy, which are 2 Retribution Light War Jacks that are coming out here.
Man, I love the Harpy. Let's do the Siren first, but I love the Harpy.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
So the Siren has me pretty excited because I really like Virus 2, which will come to no surprise for people that knew me in the previous edition of the game.
Yep.
But with Power Up and Oracular, so it's got Oracular Vision, which is the spin to focus negated damage roll. That combos very well with Power Up, and it also lets your Arcanists do stuff on turns where you may or may not necessarily need that extra focus. They can put additional focus on Sirens and then give them more Oracular Vision. So they can spend 1 to run and then get a sec 1 from an Arcanist.
Yep.
To do that kind of stuff. It's got a range 10, power 12 gun. That is magical and has Death Driver, which is very similar to what's it called? Death Rattle. So when it kills a model, or when it kills a living or undead non-warcaster warlock enemy warrior model, Yep.
Tell
it
me
can take
more.
control of it, and it can
We got there.
wander about and stab its buddies and stuff, and that's kind of it taking over, being the Siren. Siren's call is how that's sort of being explained here.
Yeah, it's the Siren's call. It makes you walk over and kill Fred.
Poor Fred.
Just stab him in the face.
Poor. Who was it? It was Charlie at Gen Con that always died, right? In our demos.
No, it was Frank.
Frank.
Frank always died in the
Poor
demo.
guy. Poor guy. But yeah, and then it's got two pretty reasonable melee weapons. So it's got a POW 14 1-inch reach, and then a POW 12 half-inch reach. So I like this guy with Virus 2,
Well,
of course.
But real fast, those fists are both blessed,
Oh,
open
yeah.
fist, and magical. And
Yep.
those are three icons like that are all relevant. They're all
Yes.
incredibly relevant.
I mean, this Jack becomes very very diverse in what it can do, right? Like it can beat things up, it can throw stuff, it can deal with Arcane Shield, it can deal with Protection of Minoth,
I'm paying attention.
all that kind of stuff. So it's a very versatile, very powerful melee threat that also has a pretty reasonable gun on it.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with this guy, and I hope to see some Virus 2 lists coming out with him.
Yeah, and
because
more,
of synergy.
and more Virajacks. More Virajacks are always solid, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll go over the Harpy real fast. So what the Harpy brings is the call. Man, I can't talk today.
Neither one of us can, man.
The Force Claws it comes with are less impressive in melee than the Sirens. You know, we're looking at a 13 and 11, both with open fists. So lower POW, open fist versus blessed magic weapons. But that's okay because it comes with rate of fire 2, range 12, POW 13, Thunderbolt magic gun.
Yes.
And it's Rat 6, and it has flight.
Yep.
Which in this is just
wander on about.
yeah, just get where you need to be, move across the obstructions you need to move across everything you want to. Obviously still getting free strikes, but like, whereas the Siren has a cool gun and really great melee potential for a light, the Harpy is it's all gun, right? Like it's all about getting into position and thunderbolting things out of the way or just murdering them.
Sure. And it was just brought up in chat that rate of fire 2 with Thunderbolt can cause problems.
Yep.
We certainly agree. This gun started out at range 10. We do really like Thunderbolt on it, so we decided to bump it up to range 12. Maybe you can get a little less greedy with your ranges and not sit right at the very end with a range 12, and then that will kind of let you mitigate that Thunderbolt. Also, with the Arcantric Force Generator, it does go to range 14. So that's very respectable ranged.
So of the two, I'm actually really happy with where the Siren is in terms of point cost and what it does. And the Harpy, I still think the point cost is probably right, but that gun is serious business on a very cheap Jack. We know how good range 12, POW 13, rate of fire 2 guns can be on 9-point Jack. This is no Charger. Don't get me wrong.
The turret is only POW 12.
Yeah, exactly. He also doesn't have Thunderbolt. He does get boosted both ways. Anyway, we understand the potential of spamming this thing.
And this guy, to me, screams Ossian. He's really good on the feet turn.
He's
You wanna
ridiculous
take-
under Ossian.
You want to take the AFG with Ossian because you get the knockdown, you get all that good stuff. It gets the range from that. I think this guy and Ossian are made in heaven.
Yeah, so this is definitely one that when testing, we do want to see people spam him. Spam him a bit. Tell us what 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 Harpies does in your lists. Though you can't run 20. It's illegal.
I mean, anything's possible.
All right, let's get weird.
Yeah.
Imminent Configurator Orion
Not that kind of weird. Never mind. Yeah, so this guy
is weird.
is pretty strange. He does a lot of different stuff. He is the new Convergence Warcaster. Dallas did a fantastic job of painting this guy. I love that he has like this little collar around him and it's got constellations painted in it and stuff. It's amazing. I love it. So his stats not particularly impressive because that's not what he's about. He's speed 5, mat 5, rat 6, which is very important for Convergence because all the vectors inherit those stats. Defense 15, armor 16, so he's reasonably durable.
Yeah.
And he's focus 7.
There's something to say about his stats, though, because you can often look at the stats of a Convergence caster and say, okay, what kind of list is this telling me I probably want to build? And already, just without knowing anything else, mat 5, rat 6 already says, guns are just 1 point better than him. And then as soon as you look at his spell list and all the things you can do, you can see this is kind of the ranged Convergence caster.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Mother gets played with a lot of range stuff because obviously her Imperil servitors are very strong. She has Fire Group for +2 range. Her feet makes them rat 8.
But
so that's great. But Orion is kind of a more dedicated ranged caster where we'll get there. Well, I mean, first off, his feet, right?
Yeah.
So his feet is, when targeting enemy models, if they don't have a Focus or a Fury, you get boosted attack rolls.
Yeah.
When targeting enemy models.
Additional die.
Additional die.
Additional die. It's still boostable up to 4.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then if they have a Focus or a Fury, you gain boost or additional die damage rolls. So that's kind of weird.
And it's slightly, we don't say worrisome, but try it out, because against casters who are going to have a Focus or Fury on them, like, it's additional die. It's not boosted. You can do a massive amount of damage with all these jacks you're bringing, the vectors you're bringing.
So to me, I like it against casters because when they have focus is when you need to do more damage, and when they don't have focus is just when you need to hit.
Yep.
And you need to make sure that you get through that. So it synergizes very well with assassination runs. His Field Marshal for the faction is Reposition 3, which is always good. You can clear out of your own firing lines. You can get out of the way. It's even solid on some melee vectors.
And again, it kind of screams gun line.
Yep. And then he himself has a range attack that is range 13, POW 13. And if it hits, it gets to push stuff around kind of like the Artificers in Red. So like he hits something, you can push stuff away or you can pull stuff in. And then he has a melee attack that knocks things down.
Yeah, he's got
It's named Pendulum.
He's got Pendulum. If Orion finds himself in melee,
Something has gone horribly
something has gone wrong.
Horribly wrong. Into a spell list.
Real fast.
You want to real quick me?
Oh, it's from the chat.
Oh.
Colin Pritchard just posted, I'm back, baby, in all caps. Welcome back, Colin.
Welcome
Good to
back,
see you.
Colin. I'm glad you're going to play again.
Yep.
Or maybe you're just back in the chat. I don't know.
No, he's back. He was on Facebook earlier saying he's getting back into Signor.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, so let's go on to the spell list.
Excellent. So we've got Avenging Force, which I believe is a new spell. Not to me. I've been playing it for a while. But what it is if they destroy one of your models around Orion, one of your vectors will get to advance 3 inches and make 1 basic ranged attack.
Yep.
So this is kind of like a weird version of Tantrum from the Child that is meant for ranged attacks.
It's basically like the Hollowed Avenger, but for ranged instead of melee. Which
Correct, but they don't kill it near... Yeah, so it's in the Spellcaster's command range, not around the Jack, which is Hollowed Avenger.
I just usually think Testament, who he's control range 10 anyway, so it's pretty close.
And then, of course, he's got Mage Sight, which is a classic spell. A lot of people know what that one does. You put down the 5-inch AoE, you can draw line of sight to it. They lose stealth and all that
In
good
case
stuff.
you don't have the attunement servitors to get the flare where you need it. Yeah.
We've got Magic Bullet, which is coming back from Jarl here. So you hit a model, you get to ricochet an extra POW 12 onto something else.
Let's do Power Booster and
do that
Blaster
one.
in a second. Let's do Spell Piercer next.
And then Spell Piercer, of course, gives all of your weapons Magic and Blessed, which is beautiful for ranged attacks. That's one of the big things for them is you don't get a lot of them, so you really want to make sure you get the most out of each one.
Yeah.
So Blessed really helps with that. And then, of course, there's a lot of things that say non-magical ranged attacks automatically miss, stuff like that. So Spell Piercer really helps out with that.
Power Blaster.
You go into Power Blaster because this is my favorite thing we've ever done.
Well, what Power Blaster is more your baby than it was
Oh, I
mine.
know, but
So
you can explain
I
it.
want you to explain it.
Okay. So Power Blaster is like a super duper power booster.
Yep.
You can cast it on a Warjack, friend or foe. If it's against your models, you don't have to roll to hit. If it's against their models, you do have to roll to hit. If you do hit, you add a focus to that Warjack. Then, for each focus on that Warjack, models within 1 inch per focus suffer a POW 10 electrical damage roll.
Yep.
So this is a really fun spell. 1, it can unjam all of your shooting jacks. So you cast it on your guys, power them up, and then you can induct that focus around.
Yep.
2, you cast it on their jacks, kills all the support behind them, kills all the infantry around them. Beautiful. And then it triggers your feet.
Yeah.
So now you have a way to add focus to Warjacks to trigger Orion's Oblivion configuration so that you can get the additional damage dice there.
It's a real weird spell, but it works.
It's very strange, yeah.
But and I think for anybody testing it, because we've already seen a couple of people talking about that spell and being like, "This thing's strange. I don't know what to do with it." Just listen to everything
it is
Gandhi
weird.
just said, because that is the entire purpose of that spell.
Yep. And he's weird. Whenever I build armies with him, I always think about Perforators, which I know are a very unpopular choice at the moment, but they're quite solid with both his feet. And then, of course, Spell Piercer is great for them as well.
Yeah.
I really like Reductors with him because you get the boosted attacks against all the infantry models, and that sweet POW 13 spray can really lay into Warjacks.
Yep.
I don't know. I just really like this guy. He does a lot of interesting and unique things that Convergence doesn't normally get to do.
So when you're testing them, we definitely are recommending more of a heavy ranged slant, but by all means, don't try just that. Mess around with them, see what you can pull off.
I also like monitors with him because the crit brutal is great with the feet. Then you can get 5 damage dice if you crit, which is pretty bananas.
Yeah.
And then of course the sustained attack on their melee attacks kind of helps offset that mat 5. So
It's Cross 2 time. So my faction bias, so everybody knows I'm the Merc Minion guy. My faction bias is going to show. Cross 2. So what happened to Cross 2? Well, first off, he picked up a nasty gun. We haven't said a ton about the fluff on it just yet, to my knowledge.
Which I'm not sure we can.
Yeah, but yeah, there's something up with that gun. I mean, being that it's, sucking souls up and letting him do all kinds of crazy stuff. So how does Cross 2 work? Cross 2 has a very good support feat, but most of the time Cross 2 is going out on his own. He's very Kane-ish in the sense that where Kane 1 had a spell list that really supported his army and then a feat that was all about him getting up in the mix. Cross 2 has a feat that supports his army and then a spell list and personal abilities that really support him getting up in the mix. He's all about collecting souls, and if you happen to be fighting against an enemy that doesn't give you souls, you still have a way to get souls from your own forces. So start with the feat. His feat is all friendly faction models currently in his control range, so pulse, not aura, get Pathfinder, stealth, and run and gun. Run and gun is ranged sprint. That is ridiculous with the right list because it basically lets you quasi-time walk your opponent if you sort of pick at the edges and then back up outside of any charge ranges and then have stealth. He has Dark Blessing as a core ability and Gunfighter. And Dark Blessing says if he spends a soul token, he gets +3 def. So he's def 15, arm 15, normally focus 6. You're talking def 18, arm 15.
Which is pretty insane.
Let's talk about the gun before we go on the spell list, because really, Cross 2 is about his gun. Range 12, rate of fire 2, PAL 12. So magical, decent gun. When he has at least 1 soul token, he gets Signs Importance on all of his attacks. Okay?
All of his range attacks.
All of his range attacks. So that's solid. He can gain souls. Whenever he destroys a living enemy model with a attack by the gun, he gets its souls and its soul, and he can have up to 5 soul tokens.
Yep.
And he has Death Dealer, which says you can remove 3 soul tokens. I'll read it exactly. You remove 3 soul tokens from this model at the start of the combat action to use Death Dealer. If you do, this weapon becomes rate of fire 4, and its attack and damage rolls are boosted during this model's combat action. This model cannot make additional attacks this activation. So what that means is you spend 3. And you go to rate of fire 4 all boosted. Then if you shoot a guy and you get a soul on you, now you've got black boon. So now you're boosted both ways, signs and ports on your remaining 3 shots.
You could have also just had a 4th soul on you.
You could also have just had a 4th soul. But if you're triggering it at 3, you can trigger it, go into super mode, shoot a guy, and the next 3 shots are ridiculous. I've killed so many things with Cross.
So many things.
Throwing a Death Dealer up and then having that extra soul from Blood Boon. And it's just, 4 dice both ways, drop the lowest.
I mean, I feel like Ion and Holt are this guy's best friends.
Right?
Like, you get the harm out there, you go to PAL 14, and you just annihilate a heavy a turn.
Yeah. Now,
as long as you can keep that soul mechanics coming.
Correct.
You can keep blowing him up.
Now, we said he's range 12, but he also has Fire Group.
Yep.
So he can be up to range 14. He has Dark Fire. Good spell. More importantly, gets you a soul. He has Sentry. So the target friendly faction model gains rapid fire. BT dub. That can be him. And then Lifebound, which is a new spell. Basically says a single model gets Shield Guard. This could be anything. So you put it on a grunt. You put it on
living model.
Yeah, living model. Yeah, any living model, because what it does is when that model dies, he gets its soul, and this is for friendly models. So even if you can't bring an Ogre and Bokor or another Shield Guard with him, or Vanguard or something like that, you can just throw it on normal little grunts around him or anyone else, and have Shield Guards out there. So what are your experiences thus far with old Cross?
I mean, I feel like you missed something here.
Oh, that he works for the Crucible Guard, Signar, and the Protectorate?
That's weird. Crucible Guard just popped up.
Well, people know about the Crucible
Who
Guard.
knows?
They do.
So I really like this guy. I think he does range attrition super well. He doesn't support super well, kind of as you said. So he's very Kane 2-esque.
Yeah, his
in what
feat
he does.
Is the support, right?
Yeah. I mean, and so you get 1 turn of sort of this range attrition game where they can't retaliate super easily unless they ignore stealth. But really, opposing warcasters have to be super careful around this guy at all times. He just has a walking 20-inch threat. And if he's got souls, he will destroy warcasters and warlocks. Yep. So I think he's just really good. And I want to play him in assassination style lists where you kind of have this mini protect 1 style thing. So he just tries to solo their whole army. So you play a lot of tankier stuff. You play a lot of warjacks with ranged weapons just to push stuff around. I really like the Mariners with the crit devastation and stuff, so they can aim. And
also, if you bring only 1 jack and you bring a Galleon with Sentry on it, it's
sure. And then you get that weird pull at the start of your turn.
Yeah, start your turns. I'll drag that thing over and beat it to death. Neat. enjoy.
Yep. So I think he's pretty versatile while not being super supporty, and he's very, very killy.
Yep. And we can't talk about him without talking about the new Lely's Resistance theme force that is also
Correct.
in CID. So
which I think he works very well in.
people have been wanting the Lely's Resistance theme force since Souls first mentioned it over a year ago when he spoiled that one of the benefits was going to be you could take a smaller medium-based Signar or Protectorate unit and they would become a Merc unit. So people have known this is coming for a while, and hey, here it is.
Here we go.
So let's talk about the bucket list of all the things you can take. Lely's Casters, Kane's Hellslingers, Constance Blaze, Drake McBain. Non-character Warjacks, and of course, if you have a bonded Jack, you can bring it like any other time. Lely's models and units, Sam and the Devil Dogs Precursor Knight units, Colby, Gobber Tinkerers, Harlan Versh, Madeline Corbeau, the Piper, and Rutger Shaw. So that's a pretty wide variety of models you can bring. And the first benefit is probably the most unique one, which I just mentioned. You can bring one small, it's now small based. It used to be small and medium based. We changed it.
No, it's just small.
So one small based non-character Signar Protectorate unit. How many out of 10 times is this the choir?
A lot.
Yeah, it's like a good 7 out of 10 times.
I mean, I like the gun mages with them too, though.
I like the gun mages too, and that's because of another
Treacherous, of
benefit.
course, and-
Yeah, but so obviously for there's a free model benefit for every 20 points of units and solos, you get one command attachment or solo of this army free of cost. There is no base size requirement on that solo, so any solo you want. Gun mage models in this army gain sniper, just flat out. So Thorn gun mages, or if you decide to take the Arcane Tempest gun mages as your Signar unit, get sniper. John, our social media guy, apparently hearing this benefit for the first time, looked over in shock. John, are you excited?
I just got the Arcane Tempest Rifleman, so yes, I am.
All right,
Excellent.
but yeah, that unit all having sniper.
And it works on the Thorn mages. It works on the Arcane Tempest ones from Signar, of course. Terran.
Yeah,
It's all the different gun mages.
And then it has another really unique Theme Force benefit, a new one we haven't seen before, which is that at the start of the game, up to 18 inches up your board, you get to put a 5-inch rubble AoE down, and one of your solos can start inside of it.
Yes.
So when we did that, one of the first things you and I checked was, is Eris in this list?
No, she's
and the
not.
answer is no, she's not, because that's not okay. So, Pagani, I've just got done reading it all off, talking about some of the cool things. What do you think about Lely's Resistance?
I mean, I love Precursor Knights because they have super sweet models, and I've always liked them with Ashlyn. I don't know why. It's just been like a thing of mine.
Sure.
So I'm excited to play some Precursor Knights with some Ashlyn because I have some beautifully painted, white and purple Precursor Knights.
I remember those.
Yeah,
They are pretty
yeah.
sweet. They're pretty sweet. I'm excited about seeing. For me, it's what are people going to use as their Signar or Protectorate choice?
Oh, sure. And that is definitely what we need to test here, right?
Yeah, and that's what we want
This
to
is where it's going to break if it's going to break.
Yeah, and that's what we want to focus in on. We imagine most people are going to take choir, 7 out of 10 times or more. But get weird. Show us what you can do outside the gun mages and the choir. Is there something that we didn't think about? Is there some Busto combo you can come up with? You're like, hey, by the way, did you know if you take the Express team? Oh, you can't because you got medium base. Yeah. If you take, I don't know, what's the weirdest thing you can think of? If you take a unit of deliverers, a minion unit of deliverers in this list, and then this, and this, these things happen. Oh, you can. You could take a minion of deliverers with the new deliverers from CID and test it in Lely's Resistance.
Actually, now that you've mentioned it, what I want to do is take this with Gaston and Zealots with a Monolith Bearer, and then put Lifebound on the Zealots to give them Shield Guard and then Mini Feet so that when they all die, they come back the next turn after they Shield Guard everything.
Yeah, and you know what Protectorate Zealots really love?
Dying.
Having their souls put into a weird gun so they can be used to power it up and kill things.
They're all about it.
They are so
love it.
They're so bouty.
They love it.
So yeah, for this one, focus mostly on testing those weird Signar and Protectorate units, and let us know what strange things you find. There's gonna be something with daughters we haven't seen.
Probably. Someone in chat mentioned, why are there not Steelheads in this theme force? Honestly, Souls talked about this a little bit on the forums already. We don't know why, which means there's probably a pretty good chance that they will end up in this theme force. We're going to discuss it at our meeting tomorrow. So
Yeah, it's actually a really good idea.
I think it is.
I mean,
think
if
it'll
you
be
look at all the novels and stuff that have come out recently, there's Steelheads everywhere. So
great. Yep.
don't be surprised if that happens. Hey, you're the Circle guy.
I love Circle.
Why don't you tell us about all the new Circle stuff? So
Oh,
we've
man,
got
there's a bunch.
we can tell there's definitely no developer faction bias going on because there is only 4
5?
Sorry, 5. 5 circle changes in addition to the CID model coming out. So Pagani, please, by all means.
Let's run through them right quick.
Yep.
The Wold Watcher gained a mat, lost a point. The Wold Warden lost 2 points. I think he was
Yeah.
16 before.
Yeah,
he was
16
15.
before.
I don't remember. The Wold Guardian lost a point, gained a strength. Baradigus has Mystic Wards on all of his battle group now instead of a single model.
Yep.
Basically back to the Mark II version, except that it only increases the cost by 1 of spells instead of stopping casting altogether. The Stone Shaper picked up a ability called Earth's Power, which gives +2 strength to target Wold, or I guess Construct.
Let's not glaze over that one.
That one's super big, like
That
super
one's
duper big.
Super big.
So Wolds have always had a problem with hitting power. They were never really able to go toe-to-toe with Warjacks or even other heavy war beasts like Titans or things like that, and they still won't with these changes. So this Earth's Power change here really puts them into the same hitting bracket for their points as a lot of other things. So you do still have to take this little Stone Shaper. It does allow for counterplay because you can shoot him in the base. He does have Stone Sentinel, which is very similar to Iron Sentinel, except it works on stone things.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Well, you know a really good way to keep him alive? You bring a couple shield guards.
Oh man, where are we gonna get those?
I don't
Are we
know.
playing Gaston?
No. Maybe we could have this like weird scarecrow thing.
Yes. I like to think that he hops around. How do you think he runs around? You think he's got like 2 little feet at the bottom of his stick, and he like?
Yeah. He looks planted in the ground like a scarecrow, but I imagine vines come up and he's just like, like he just comes,
Excellent.
and that's the noise he makes. And people are like, huh?
This is the entirety of the dev office, by the way, all day, every day. Oz hates this. So the Wold White is the new model. It is speed 6. It is mat 5, rat 4. Beautiful stats there. Beautiful. Def 13, arm 15.
Yep.
Fury 2. So he's clocking in right up there with the Wold Watcher. And he is only 5 points.
He's very cheap.
He is on a medium base, but he is essentially a lesser war beast. He's only got 14 damage boxes. He is real squish. Real squish. His animus is spontaneous combustion. It is cost 1, and it is himself and all models within 2 inches suffer the fire continuous effect. Now, normally you'd be like, Will, why do you want to set your arm 15 model on fire with your own thing? I'm like, well, cheers. We have the special rule Fire's Fury here, which is this model gains +5 arm against fire damage rolls, and while suffering the fire's continuous effect, it cannot be knocked down and gains boosted attack and damage rolls.
I like that you cheers chat, by the way.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Cheers.
That's probably a bad idea. That's
No, we
probably
shouldn't
really
do that
loud.
at all.
Yep. I just realized he also has steady, and Fire's Fury makes him steady. So we could probably cut steady off this guy and just save some rules text there.
But what if he's not on fire?
Well, I think it's going to go.
What if an enemy spell is cast on him that says he gains immunity to fire just to mess with him? That spell doesn't exist and won't. But if it did,
Yeah, I'm going to guess that doesn't exist.
it doesn't. But then, so yeah, talk about his melee potential and what he's got going on here. Like, we've actually had to tone this guy down
A lot.
a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I think we because he was hitting way harder than a 5-point light should be.
Well, I mean, I think he started with 2 initials in POW 12
And open fist.
and Open Fist. So he got little fingers hiding in those lanterns. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, I guess if he's got feet, he can have fingers too. That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's down to 1 POW 10. So with the Stone Shaper, he can go to POW 12. Bradigus puts him up to 15. And then with his own rule, he can get all boosted attack and damage rolls. So that man 5, not nearly as relevant. And then, of course, with the Black Clad, he charges for free. So we can get 3 attacks total at POW 15 boosted damage, which is quite similar to Malak Karn. And this guy's 5 points.
And he's 5 points.
And then, of course, you have the threat range game, right? So he's speed 6. Black Clads give +2 on charges, so that's 11. He has a 1-inch melee range, so that's a 12. You combine that with Bradigus's feet, we're now at a 17.
Yep.
So these guys can do an awful lot of damage for 5 points. Now, as we said earlier, they are very, very squishy. So we are keeping a very close eye on these guys as we don't really want a World War I fight again.
Nope. And
World War I.
in terms of testing him, this is definitely one we want to see you try and spam.
Yeah.
Run probably 4 to 6. Bradigus is the new Bradigus is a great place to start, and see how much damage you can do with them, and if they turn out to be a bit too much.
I like to play probably about 6 of them, and then 2 or 3 Wold Guardians, and then usually 1 or 2 Little Stone Mans. So something like that could be a great place to go.
Primus Jalam.
This guy has had a lot of posts that I've been tagged in on.
Me too.
Yeah.
This guy. Did we? No, we didn't goof. We didn't goof.
We may have goofed.
He's not. He's.
This feat is So a lot of people are on Facebook and the CID forums right now hating on this feat, saying that it's probably worse than Mordecai's feat, which gives +3 defense.
Nope.
You should try this feat. So what his feat is called Heightened Sight. When an enemy model makes an attack roll against a friendly faction model in Jalam's control area, enemy models roll 1 less die. Heightened Sight lasts for 1 round. So if you're Mat 7 trying to punch a defense 14 thing, you can't.
Unless you can boost. And that's the difference between Mordecai. So Mordecai's feat, you could always roll boxcars. It's possible. You can still hit the model, right? But with this one, if you can't boost and you go down to 1 die and you are Mat 6 or Rat 6, Rat 6 can aim, but say that you have to move up. Most models in the game are around the Mat 6, Rat 6 range. And against Def 13, which Scorn has plenty of Def 13 things, you become invincible. And unlike Fiona, which is the enemies in your control range, this is your models are in Jalam's control range. So he can still play incredibly safe while having this up.
So I just want to point out in chat, someone just said those people are dumb. That's not nice. Don't do that. They may not have tried it yet. They may not have thought it all the way through. Like, there's no reason to be rude. Like, stick with it, guys. Come on. We don't have to do that. No, I'm going to shake my finger at him.
You shake your finger.
And you know who you were.
I got your back.
I'm not going to call you out, though, because I love you.
So yeah, Jalam's feat is potentially problematic. We've tested it a lot. Even things like go outside the box a little bit, and it's not even really a far jump. If you do Cyclops spam, where you can force them to re-roll, and all the Cyclopses being where they're at in terms of def, it's just
It skews the math a lot more than people are giving it credit.
Yeah, you can time walk
It's really
the
the big one.
opponent, which in Scorn is quite powerful. Now, we're not saying that Jalam needs to be nerfed by any means. Jalam might be fine.
Yeah.
We're just paying very close attention to his feat and what it does to the math. And if we're still making sure that people are having an interactive game when playing against him and his army. But let's go over the rest of everything he does.
Yep. So that's the feat. He's got Pathfinder. He's tough. That's always nice. He's got Hunter, so he knows concealment and cover with his gun. He's got Prey.
Yep.
Which is our first Warcaster or Warlock with Prey.
It's real good.
And then, of course, he's got a Reaver, which is base POW 10. It can burst fire up to 12, and then it can Prey up to 14 for heavies.
Rate of fire 2.
Rate of fire 2, so you can put 2 boosted damage POW 14s out there on turns you need to. He's base rad 9, or 7, I'm sorry, and then goes up to 9 with Prey. So, like, this guy has really sweet offensive stats.
And it's magical. I actually don't think most Reavers are not magical, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to guess no Reavers are magical.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if there were any. But, he's got a magic, Reaver, so that's good to go. And in the Blade, with it being Powerful Strength 12, Grievous Wounds, Magic, if he gets into melee, he still has Prey.
Yeah, so he's Mat 9, POW 14 against his Prey target, which is a very legitimate assassination threat to a lot of people. And then we tack on Grievous Wounds onto that sword. So.
And so the melee potential, you look at him and you see a very range-heavy guy, and we'll go through his spell list in a second. But the last spell he has is Vanish, which I want to talk about real fast. Is you'd be surprised the amount of melee assassinations you get off with Jalam. Because, Vanish, you put him anywhere completely within 3 inches of his current location. I mean, he still gets to charge. This is not like most teleports that say go somewhere and then you can't advance anymore. So, people try and tie him up at certain angles. You can just sort of teleport on the other side of them and then go at your prey target if it happens to be the enemy Warcaster with, like you said, Mat 9, Palpable Strength 14, Grievous Wounds. Like, Jalam will kill stuff in melee if he has to.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, you can get Sprint from the Archidon. So if you do want to vanish forward, charge some infantry dudes, clear out a little charge path for something else, sprint away 6 inches, you can totally do that. Maybe you can back up in your Artifice of Deviation. You get cover. He's got Artifice of Deviation. This guy can do a lot of work himself, and it doesn't really look like he can. And then he has this excellent suite of support abilities from his spell list.
Yeah, we got Deadeye.
Yep.
Which anybody who's ever played Signar against Signar knows how powerful Deadeye is.
Yes, especially on Venator Reavers with mini feeding up to range 16. They can always aim. They get the Dakar. They're going to be rat 8, 9, and just...
Artifice of Deviation, another incredibly powerful spell. Getting the cover. He can put it wherever he needs to stand until he's ready to go. Scavenger's Blessing. Model/unit gains Pathfinder and Prowl. So Pathfinder on demand to any model unit in Scorn you want. And Stealth on quasi demand for any model/unit.
I mean, with Swamp Coppers, it's...
Yeah, but if you want to play, if you wanted to play them forward, like if you want your Annihilators to get up there and have stealth, and then move them up a little bit further, or Praetorians if you're running them, or Satrati if you have them, have Satrati go run in the woods with Prowl and Pathfinder, and even low def models like that on his feet turn, like Satrati who have set defense, they're def 11, go up to 13 with set defense, have them walk up shield wall feet, then people trying to charge into them or one less die on a def 13, you're just not killing them.
Yeah. it becomes incredibly difficult to deal with. And then if you do actually hit them, their armor 20.
Yeah.
Like, it's super good.
And
Super
then
duper good.
one of the best non-linear threat extensions in the game, Warpath.
Yes.
It's no TK, but it's real good.
So, I mean, playing out a theme, right? Like you can throw Warpath on Malakarn, which I feel like is something that guy has always wanted. Because then you get the 5-inch walk after your first sidestep or your second, either one.
Yeah, whatever.
So that guy can get places. It's really great on things like Heir to Soldiers or even the range beasts, right? Like they can maneuver with it. It's such a good spell, and it does so much to make this guy a really interesting caster.
So testing Jalam, we're actually feeling pretty confident in regards to his spell list and his abilities. Our number one concern with him is his feet. So as you're testing him, try to break his feet. That's what we want. We want you to come up with the army list that somebody plays against and goes, oh, neat, I can't do anything to this at all unless I brought, somebody who can do mass knockdown or anything like that, like a Krios 1. I mean, that's the thing. The feat does have its own built-in counters, like a Krios 1 knocking everyone down. But even then, a Krios 1 knocking everyone down, you still have a minor chance of missing on just rolling that natural 1. So that still happens unless you're attacking them in melee.
What is it, like 17% or something?
Yeah, so try and push the feet as hard as you can. I personally have been messing around with Cyclops spam, just in a list where I can use Imperial War Host or any of the beast-centric ones and see what you can pull off.
I played him in a theme we haven't talked about yet, but they'll get it soon.
Okay.
So, cheers. Next up, we got the Ice Witches from Legion.
Yep.
They've got this is a 3-man unit, a spellcaster unit, kind of like the Dunian Knot, something
3-witch unit.
vaguely similar to that. Their magic ability 6. They're immune to cold. They're def 14, which is pretty dope.
And Snow Wreath.
Again,
You said dope again?
I did. They have Frostbite for a spray 8 magic. No.
I'm getting in your head.
A spray 8 magic attack that does a POW 12. And then, of course, we've got Ice Cage, which is something new to Legion, I believe.
The Throne of Everblight picked it up in the Battle Engine CID.
Yes.
And so with these,
that was Hunter's Mark for a while, right?
So that was one of the main things of them picking up Ice Cage, which has been a slightly recent change to them before they went in the CID, was because the Throne of Everblight picked up Ice Cage. Now you've got a faction that has multiple sources of Ice Cage. I mean, the Throne of Everblight can throw out, 4 a turn? And then you've got these 3. I mean, they're FA3. You're probably going to bring maybe 1 or 2 at most. You could bring all 3 if you wanted to. But,
Sure.
I mean, you could have mass amounts of Ice Cage out there, and just being able to have that level of stationary every turn is potentially brutal depending on the opponent you're facing.
And one of the biggest issues in Legion is they have very few accuracy buffs. So
Yes.
this kind of gives them something that they've never really had before.
Yep. And Puppet Master again.
Another accuracy buff.
Yep.
Or
And
damage buff.
you mentioned them being Def 14. They've got Snow Wreath, so they've always got concealment. So they are Def 16 unless they're facing against Legion, in which case, whatever. They're just dead.
Poor guys. Testing for them, Puppet Master with some assassination runs from both Lilith 2, Veil 2, Lilith 3. That's something that I would worry about is, does that Puppet Master bring a little too much consistency to the assassination game of Legion, just totally from downtown. So,
shall we move on to both the new Minions theme force, nailed it, and the Pharaoh Valkyries?
why is that nailed it?
Because it's so awesome.
Because you made it.
It will work for food is dope.
Gotcha.
Dope.
Gotcha.
So Pharaoh Valkyries.
Sure.
Let's start.
Okay.
People have been hearing about these for a long time. They just came out, and these girls do a lot of. They're just like a little annoying brick you have to deal with, and if you start hurting them, or if you're forced to hurt them, they get up there and really start pounding on you. So speed 5. Not the fastest. Mat 6, Rat 6. Mat and Rat being very important on both. Def 13, Arm 16. They have a buckler, so they're technically 13-17s.
Yep.
They've got 5 damage boxes each. They've got... Go ahead.
I feel like these guys make Ogren Bokurs really sad. Not that the Bokur's not great, because he's great, but he wishes he could grow up to be a Pharaoh Valkyrie.
I mean, he can slam, and he's got 8 damage boxes versus 5, and he costs 5. But yes.
But you get 3 of these.
You do get 3 of them. So they've got Shield Guard and Vengeance, which we saw in the Spears of Syra. Yeah. However, unlike the Spears of Syra, who are armor 11,
Those poor ladies.
these are armor 17 with 5 damage boxes. So you can Shield Guard, probably survive. They've got Tough because they're Pharaoh. And then they all get to Vengeance, which is also important because they've all got Gang. So your Vengeance moves let you move in, use the Gang, at which point you're going to have Mat 8, power plus strength 12 with crit knockdown, making 2 potential attacks. They've all got assault. The Rat 6 again mattering on a PAL 12 buckler cannon. Like for 8 points, they put out a significant quantity of attacks at a relatively average damage level, unless you buff them in some way via Carver's Feet or Calamity from Midas. You run them with Helga. You've got the dash for the extra speed plus the parry, and also just on her feet turn with them slamming things around. Like in a vacuum, they are an average tanky-ish unit with utility. Backed up by the warlocks available to minions, they become very powerful. You throw Fury on them from Rask, and they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, each one goes into PAL 15.
Yeah, it's real good. I mean, what do you think?
I feel like at some point they should have flight,
They can't.
Wow.
We talked about it.
but they have little wings on their helmets.
But they doesn't let them fly.
But the wings.
So what we want to see with them right now is, are they hitting at the proper level for what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to sit back and be shield guards primarily. And when you use them as shield guards, then they get to move up and attack. You get the double move of both Vengeance move, then their activation, and with Gang and Assault, they can put out a pretty high quantity of attacks. We want to be very careful about how high we push that damage. And we also want to make sure they're costed appropriately. Is 8 too high? Should these be 7 points, or is 8 just right for the amount of damage they can take? They're very difficult to assess on paper. Throw them on the table. This is one unit that I know a lot of people will look at and have an immediate knee-jerk reaction and sort of make up their mind on them. Put them on the table, run 2 units of them, get the most out of the shield guard. And,
Or 3 units.
or 3 units, and use that non-linear threat of the Vengeances and the different levels of support you can bring.
Sure. You want to talk about the theme force?
Do you want to talk about it? I mean, I'll talk
No,
about it.
you can talk about it.
All right. Will work for food. So there's a new Minion theme force. This is the universal War Beast theme force. The idea is that Blindwater is a very infantry. I mean, Blindwater's all Gators. Thornfall is all Pharaoh. But when you look at the actual benefits, they do sort of skew towards being infantry. Obviously, Blindwater making the posse ridiculous and giving extra solos and so on and so forth. Blindwater actually doesn't have any benefits for War Beasts at all, minus the free snapper you get. Pharaoh Thornfall Alliance, for units and battle engines, you trigger your free model, so it's wanting you to bring lots of units. You get the ambush on the commandos, and then it does have retaliatory strike for the beasts. But again, even Thornfall kind of seems more combined with a slight slant towards infantry. If you are a War Beast person for minions, Will Work for Food is the War Beast theme force, and it is a giant potpourri. It is both Gators and Pharaoh and all the lessers all together. So this theme force is Minion Warlocks, non-character War Beasts, Minion character units. So you'll notice that this one, Gatorman Posse, Bog Trogs, Swamp Shamblers, Brigands, Commandos, all the non-character units, of which there are many in Minions, are actually sort of pushed to their specific packs theme forces, and this one just keeps the characters instead. That said, it does allow all Minion solos regardless, so character and non-character. The Boil Master and Spirit Cauldron, which you can't use yet because you don't know what they do, and you won't until the Blindwater CID.
He got the gumbo.
He is the nasty gumbo. Bone Grinders, because duh.
Because they're bone grinders.
Valkyries, almost purely for gameplay reasons. They are going to provide you a solid FA3 unit that provides mass shield guard in this unit, or in this army, which can be important given the amount of lesser warlocks you might be bringing. Bellows Crews, and then all of the lessers and both battle engines. The benefit is for every 25 points of War Beasts or lesser warlocks you take, you get 1 solo without lesser warlock for free. All War Beasts, not just the ones in your battle group, but all of them, especially Scarith and Rorsch, I'm sorry, and Brine, get Overtake. And for every solo in the army, a War Beast gains advanced move, which means if you take a lesser, then the beast that you brought with the lesser can just get advanced move for free. If you take Wrong Eye and Snapjaw, you can just be like, yep, I took Wrong Eye, so Snapjaw gets advanced move. The threat range on Rorsch and Brine with this theme force is far.
Muy grande.
With Arcadius, and you can just slingshot them with the advanced move, diversionary tactics, and in a heaping of support. Unless my math is bad, you cannot get in the enemy deployment zone top of 1.
I haven't done the math, but if I remember when we were having this discussion, you actually can, but you will be out of control.
Oh yeah, you can't get into it meaningfully.
Yeah.
You can't get in there and actually do it.
If I remember correctly.
You will tear up AD forces though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man,
Don't
if
events to play against Roche O'Brien in this.
Yeah, if you
it'll be real bad.
It'll be real bad. So what we're looking for this one is to make sure that you feel if you want to play heavy theme or heavy beast and you want to play heavy lessers, then bring this theme force. This was also just because Rask and Super Friends is super fun to play, so now you have official theme force to do so. So do that. Rask and Super Friends is good.
James Moberly asks in chat, this theme force includes Brun and Lug. Any chance they can make it into CID? There's always a chance, is my response to questions like that. If we can come up with a compelling thing to do to them that might make them a more attractive choice, then yes, it is possible.
And James, test them in the list.
Yeah,
I was doing an internal play test the other day, and I was playing against this, and the staff were brought Brun and Lug with Rask, threw down the Veil of Mist to get Lug through a building with Fury on him, with Rage on him from the Wrestler who brought with Rask, with Overtake, and managed to charge in for free under a Hunter's Mark from Lanissa, hit 2 models, overtake over to my Galleon, and then buying his attacks, took my Galleon out. It was real dumb, and I wasn't happy about it. And then I was because I love the theme force.
Sure. Yeah. So the best way to get something like Brun and Lug looked at here is to play the theme, submit feedback, show how that they are not functioning in your battle reports, and show us those issues. Is the best way to pull things into CIDs instead of just like straight up asking for them in the forums, which I have to lock a lot of threads doing that. Nick Rupe? Sorry, Nick. Asks, will we be getting a Convergence Infantry theme force? Yes, you will. I don't know if I can officially say that, but I just wrote the Insider about it, and it should be going live fairly soon.
Well, luckily we're not live, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
John, we'll take it out in post.
Yeah, John, take it out in post.
That's a look of appreciation right there.
So,
but yes.
We've covered everything in the Christmas CID. Merry Christmas again, everybody. Woo! But before we close this out, John, about how much longer do you want us to have on here? So about 5-10 more minutes-ish?
Sure.
So we're going to pay attention to chat for a little bit. And if anybody has any questions about any of the stuff we covered or any specific things about testing, like what you feel you should focus in on, let us know, and we're going to answer. So we're just going to look at the chat screen for a little bit and see if anything pops up.
We should stare into each other's eyes. This won't ever get weird. Anyways, I'm excited for Secret Masters Theme Force, which we just posted an Insider about
Well, yeah.
a little bit ago.
Yeah. It's super good.
Because that Morvana 1 list, like I haven't played Morvana 1 since really early in Mark 2, and that Morvana 1 list has me very excited.
Agatha, or aka Aggie, or aka Aggie Face, asked, trolls are post WTC, question mark? Yup.
Safe assumption.
Yep, safe assumption.
Safe assumption.
We are very aware of the WTC, as Pagani posted in his Insider today. That's why we were letting everyone know what was coming in regards to the Trencher errata that was dropping, so that they would know ahead of list lock. So we are trying to be as courteous as we possibly can to the WTC in regards to any rules changes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the questions are coming too quick. We got to rapid fire.
When does Black Fleet CID occur? Well, let's go ahead and say what the next CID is.
I don't even know what the next one is.
The next CID is Blindwater.
Oh, yeah.
And then I believe, don't quote me, Black Fleet's after that.
Early next year.
Yep.
Is Black Fleet. For Scorn, any details on your Cyclops Jalam army? It involves Cyclopses and Jalam.
Nailed it.
Will we ever see a mercenary minion cross list? Arcadius with steelheads sounds fun. I mean, anything's possible.
God, I want to. God, I want to. Can you take Sentry Stones and Secret Masters?
No.
How do you
Blacklads?
How do you feel about?
If you mod one to be wearing a little black cape, but all the little Twigmen need it too.
How do you feel about gun mages running at things to put pistols in people's faces for their damage buff, and then the rest of it went off the chat?
I feel pretty good about it.
I don't know what the rest of your question was, but if that was all of it,
How do you feel about gun mages running at things to put pistols in people's faces for their damage buff and sons rather than shooting normally?
Well, you can shoot normally and push them away, and then you can play a ranged attrition game, and then if you get jammed up, that's when you take your extra damage die.
Shazam.
yeah, guns are good at range or point blank. Yeah. All right.
Northkin dynamic update date will be after WTC, which is the 24th of next month is the last day of WTC.
So Rob, we would love to give you a hard date and be like, oh man, it's totally going to be on the 25th or 26th. But things happen, and we found out that when we give a super hard date and then something happens and we miss that date by a day or two, the world explodes. So we don't want to anger anybody or make anybody get unreasonably hype and then the thing not happen. So shortly after WTC.
Chris Hoextra, sorry if I butchered your name here, asks, how many themes are we targeting for each faction in general? The answer is it heavily depends on the faction. Most of the primary 8 should probably end up in the 4 to 6 range. Some of the other smaller ones will be less.
There's no
set number.
There's
here.
no
It's just
parity.
what we need.
Yeah, we're not looking to be like everyone gets 5. Like it will be what matters for the model range and what else is coming out.
Chat's been asking about consideration for Bradigus. I think you guys might have covered it with testing for the other.
Yes, Bradigus is definitely in the CID, and he will be considered for additional changes. I would once again suggest playtesting and showing games, and then making suggestion based on those games.
Aaron asked, why no Tempest Blazers with Pistolier?
Because 46 Cavalry are pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
Black 13th got it because they're special.
Yeah, it was just the speed and the damage output was too strong. We tried it. It was not okay.
Why precursors in Connie and the Lail theme and not the Morrowind theme? Well, currently there is no Morrowind theme.
Currently.
I'm a CID guy. I'm going to say currently for everything.
Yeah. Why Deliverers in the Paladin theme? It's not the Paladin theme. It is the Faithful Masses theme. So you'll notice there's also Idrians, Zealots, Deliverers, and the Paladins are the protectors of the Faithful Masses. So this is supposed to be, the Protector's really good at conscripting the common folk and being like, here's a bomb, go to war. And so that is supposed to be those people.
Yeah, so it's sort of the untrained, initiated people, and then the Paladins are always sworn to protect them.
Somebody asked, what is the design concept for Acrimony? We covered this a little bit earlier. She's literally a genie that Ringrave keeps on his person. Like she's inside one of the little pouches he has, and he takes her out every now and then and says, do horrible things.
Can you take the new character Buccaneer in the Laelese theme from Brian Sin? I'm watching you, buddy.
The new character Buccaneer?
There is no character Buccaneer.
What's his name? Bucky?
Bucky, yeah. He's got little teeth.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Bucky the Buccaneer. What do you do? He's like one hire a rat, and that's it. He's just garbage. So, So
I just want to touch on this one because it's kind of relevant. I think the first name was Aaron on the question. He asked, why isn't there a Morrowind theme? And my answer to that is we have one unit and one caster and one warjack and one Harlan Versh. So you can't really make a theme out of 4 models with one caster, right?
We can make a theme where we include them all.
Correct.
Which Lely's does.
That doesn't like a Morrowind theme may exist in the future if we decide to go down the path where we release a bunch of new Morrowind models, but things that only have 2 or 3 releases, right? Currently Risavas, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see Risavas in Retribution have a full theme, but they've got 2 models right now, and they look awesome, and I really want more of those guys, but we can't do it right now because the models just don't exist.
It'd have been like releasing the Northkin theme force at the launch of Mark III. People were like, this theme force doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah, they'd be like, cool, I can take champions and long riders and fire eaters, and that's my whole thing.
Yeah. So more won't have her home. They do in Lely's.
Yeah, and Sarah here points out, same reason there's an Ephemerite theme, right? You could take, I don't even think Alexia is Ephemerite, but you could probably take Alexia anyway. Because I think the sword is Ephemerite. I don't know.
Matthew Shoop asked,
there's not enough stuff.
Where will assault commandos end up? In Khador.
True. True. Maybe in the trenches was another good answer. Behind the smoke wall.
Yeah.
Gas wall?
Gas wall.
Gas wall.
Yep.
Monsters.
Is it possible to make Jalam a Venator? No, he's not one.
Yeah, Jalam is not a Venator. I had a discussion earlier on Facebook, and everyone in the thread agreed that he is a desert hobo.
Yeah, he is. So James, he's a desert hobo, man. That's what he do.
Yeah, he's a wanderer. He's a big game hunter. He is not trained in the Scorn ways of the Haxun code and stuff. So
yeah. Living Warby centric theme for Circle. We got you.
That's all you get. You get this.
Don't worry, you'll be happy.
I got you, boo.
Yeah,
I got you.
Will we see a combined Cataphract and Praetorian theme? Do you want to answer that one? I'm gonna let you.
I mean, we got to write an article about it.
So
yes.
Yes.
His house is Kavar. Does that have any impact on anything? Yes. When our writers go to write the fiction for him, he is from House Kavar.
We've got to
That
cut
is
out
for
here.
Jalam, by the way.
We've got to cut out here in about 2 minutes. Let's see. Somebody writes Crick's Jack theme. Yep. Where are the ninja pigs with Vanish? What? Is the trench dog a good boy? Yep.
Yep. They're all good. They're all good boys.
He
Hunger
is
for
the goodest of boys.
the goodest
Thank
of
you.
boys.
Hungerford. When are Blindwater getting Croaks riding Gator Cavalry? Nope.
Can we talk about the idea that was pitched at Lock and Load for pygmy trolls riding pigs as medium-based cavalry for Trollbloods?
You just did.
That is the best
How do
idea
you
I've ever
feel
heard.
about that?
I'm very excited. That doesn't exist, by the way, and probably never will. But that doesn't mean I can't want it.
Yep.
Prime Conflux in CID, not this one. Retribution in CID. I mean, you got your lights.
Steve asks, when is the Flying Snake Beast? Legion's got him.
Yep.
Rhett in CID.
Currently there.
Yep.
Check.
What is the status on the Rulik War? No.
Marmots?
No.
I do love a good marmot.
Are Cephalix getting a Crix theme? No.
No?
And let's do a couple more questions and we're out.